You're listening to the Multiverse Fancast, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
All right then, on with the show.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Multiverse Fancast. If you're listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and basically anywhere you listen to podcasts. As always, I'm Paul, one of your hosts, and with me is Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Just mildly, completely right in the middle of the road, okay.
Oh, all right.
For
fine.
no particular reason whatsoever.
Not foreshadowing anything,
Not
are we?
foreshadowing at all. No. But we are super excited. We are here today. We literally just got back from the movies. We just saw 2021's Black Widow.
You mean 2020s?
2020? November 2020s? No. May 2020? Yeah, no. We finally managed to, because we are also big fans of the movie theater. We prefer going to experience our movies like we did for Fast 9. If you want to hear me just rip that movie apart, you can check out Cinematic Adventures for that one. But
I wish I was on that.
It was a rough one.
I would have defended at least 1 point. You probably would have
at least 1 point. But we are the memes. That's all. Right. That's the thing that's saving all that. But we are going to be talking about Black Widow. Long road to get here. Very excited to discuss the movie finally. The show is going to be broken up into two parts. The first part's got to be more of a little retro on Black Widow, her character, where she started, where she kind of went to. And then we're going to give you guys a commercial break, and then after the commercial, we'll come back with spoilers. You'll get a spoiler warning. So if you haven't seen the movie, which, judging by the numbers, you might have.
Yeah,
Fair
right?
bet. So let's talk really quick before we even jump into the actual movie. You had two ways of seeing this movie. You could go to the theater in person, or you could do Disney Premiere Plus.
Yes.
Now, I'm not too familiar with Disney Premiere Plus just because all I saw was $30 on top of my regular membership fee, and I was just kind of done. Ronnie, what do you think about, I mean, HBO Max was very successful with releasing things like the Snyder Cut and Into the Heights and all that stuff. What do you think about having the option nowadays?
Like you said, I like the theater experience. There's just something about going to a theater, getting the popcorn and everything like that. I think is just it's what makes a movie is the experience. Yeah, I can watch it at home. It's cheaper, because like this movie on Disney Plus was, I think it's $30 to watch it. Yeah. Now, as a family of three, it makes a lot more sense to stay at home and pay $30 instead of paying $40 for 3 tickets to go see a movie, and then obviously the popcorn and all that on top of it. But my thing is, you don't get the experience, and also look at screen size.
Yeah.
And quality. Like you go to a nice movie theater and just the screen quality is so much better than your TV, and obviously the quality of the movie comes out better on a screen. So I prefer going to the movies. However, I do like the convenience of me just sitting on my couch and watching a movie.
I think it depends on the movie too. Like we went to go see Godzilla vs. Kong in like the biggest theater we could possibly do, and it was worth it just for that single aspect. But also for me, like, I want to keep my movie theaters open. Most movie theaters don't make money from the movie tickets.
No.
That goes
the concessions.
It's all concessions. That's why, like, when people sneak in food, you're really kind of stealing from the theater itself.
Yeah.
You have a studio like Disney where they can do that $30. I think it's only a one-time fee, $30 for Premiere Access. I'm not sure if it adds on.
I don't know. I've never tried it, but I think it might be every movie you have to pay.
I'm not sure. That would be terrible if that was the case. But like we went today.
For the big movies, I'm saying. We
went today. I paid for my wife and producer Melanie, and for Sean from Cinematic Adventures because he bought breakfast, and it was $30, no snacks, no nothing. It was the 3 tickets matinee, and then I think we each got a water.
Yeah,
that was it. So do I get it? Yeah, but like you're taking away from the experience.
Yeah.
Like people, and especially getting out of the house. We spend so much time in the house. Like
exactly.
the second, I mean, we went to go see Wonder Woman in theaters, and oh god, that movie. Even though the movie was terrible, it was still at least a little nice to get out.
Yeah, like it's good too, because all right, so now I mean we're summertime, you don't have to worry about weather, but during winter time, it's like, oh, I want to watch this movie. Oh, but there's a snowstorm. Oh, well, let me just pay $30 on Disney Plus or whatever and just watch it, and I don't have to worry about driving in the snow. So again, to me, it's more convenience based.
I have a truck, so I don't care.
Well, yeah.
But no, I agree. But I definitely think that we're going to see a shift in how movies are made and how they're distributed from all this. I really hope that this doesn't become the norm, where it's you go to the theater, but it also makes you laugh because like you'll see a movie, and remember how long it used to take to get that movie? Yeah, like months you were waiting, like 6-7 months. Now, like they've proven that we can do both. Don't worry. But for movies like we watched Mortal Kombat here on HBO Max, and obviously we watched the Snyder Cut on HBO Max. Like they were all worth it for, and it makes sense for a fledgling or like a just starting off kind of company. Like Disney money's Disney money. Oh yeah. Like I hate to say they don't need, and like even like they wanted people to get on their subscription services, so they did all their shows on a weekly release. Yeah. Which is good when you're starting off, but now it's just kind of annoying because Stranger Things season, I think 4 is coming out. Yeah. And we'll watch the whole thing in a weekend. Yeah. Like it's not gonna make or break the bank for Netflix, but I get it. So, having said that, let's take a walk back in time, as it were. How far back are we going? Because Iron Man 2 is when we first got introduced to, at the time, Natasha Romanoff. Yes. Because that's how she was. That's it's funny because I knew who she was going into the movie. Yeah. Shocking. I knew something about a comic book movie before we went into it. Yeah. So, like, I knew that this 2011. Wow, 10 years ago. Wow. We're eventually gonna have to do an Iron Man retro. Yeah. But she gets introduced and she's playing Natalia, and or Natalie, excuse me, Natalie Rushman. Yeah. That's the name that she's going by, and. You see in all the original trailers, you see her like kicking ass in that hallway. Yeah. But all the SHIELD logos were taken off. So like
you didn't know.
You didn't know she was a SHIELD agent. Yeah. Like nobody knew who she was if you didn't know. Because also this was just after Iron Man. We had what was it? Iron Man, and then Incredible Hulk, then Iron Man 2. Yeah. Thor, Cap, Avengers. Yeah. So like this was still in its early time. But we get introduced to her, and she's basically undercover for Nick Fury, and replaces Pepper Potts as Tony's personal assistant. And she was there to, help defeat Justin Hammer and Ivan Vanko, which is ironic because they call the Red Guardian the Crimson Dynamo in that. I do believe that Vanko in the he was a combination of Whiplash and the Crimson Dynamo. They took both. But and also we get the intro of Rhodey in that film. Yeah. Considered one of the weaker of the MCU movies. Yes. Iron Man 2 is I think it's gotten a little bit better over time. Yeah. But it is definitely not a movie that I could ever just pop in and be like, I really want to watch a good Marvel movie. Never. It's never going to be Iron Man 2. But a solid introduction to her. She's tough. She's strong. The issue that we're gonna try and be very sensitive about in this episode. She's overly sexualized in a lot of these films. Yes. Even in Iron Man 2 when they first introduced her, like I think Kevin Feige or one of the producers recently did an interview, and he's like, "There's one scene that I really wish I had kind of taken out," and it's the line where like Tony and Pepper are talking. Pepper's like, "She's potentially a very expensive sexual harassment lawsuit," and he goes, "I want one." Yeah. Little dated, little aggressive. Not even aggressive, just kind of sleazy. Yeah. And it shows like Pepper saying that shows that she knows who Tony is, and like we get he's a womanizer, he's all that, but it's a little cringy looking back on it. But then they do like the modeling photos of her. Did you model in Paris? Like and it's like all these like suggestive photos of Scarlett Johansson. Now don't get us wrong. Don't mind it. Scarlett Johansson's a gorgeous woman. Yes. I still remember the first time I ever saw her, though, Home Alone 3. She plays the older sister, and it's the funniest thing. Yeah, that's right. But I remember watching it, and I was like, oh, my God, it's Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. Look at that. But I'd known her for a long time. I've seen a lot of her films. Yeah. She's really good. She's very talented. Oh, yeah. I have no problem with her, and, the character. But yes, they exploited her a little bit.
Because they knew what they had,
Well, also, it was an old trope that comic book movies only appealed to a certain type of person.
Yes.
The comic book boy
the one
stereotype.
in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement, as we record in the basement.
Yeah.
And just, like look at pretty lady. Even if you look at how comics were drawn, everything was misproportionate.
Yeah.
And every woman's superhero costume was obviously designed by a man. Very revealing. Very just uncomfortable.
Yes.
So even though Natasha does fight in this skin-tight leotard, basically, which is still actually one of my favorite scenes in Marvel, where Happy's trying to beat up the one guy.
Yes.
And Natasha wrecks that entire hallway.
Yep.
And then Happy's like, I got him.
Yeah.
He's so happy and so proud of himself. He does also almost crash the car trying to sneak a peek of her undressing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think about Natasha in Iron Man 2?
Yeah. Again, there wasn't too much to go off of with her in Iron Man 2. I think it was a nice introduction to the character, and obviously she's grown exponentially since then. And I feel like it's become one of the strongest characters that Marvel has put out there.
She made it there eventually.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about some of the inconsistencies with her when we talk about the actual Black Widow movie, because I do have some qualms.
Ooh.
Yeah. But then moving on, this is where we kind of get more of the spy aspect of Natasha.
Yeah.
Is with the Avengers.
Yes.
So her and Hawkeye are they partners, I guess, technically?
Yeah, I would say they're partners in it.
Yeah. So she's in charge of going to recruit Bruce Banner to use him to track the Tesseract. Not for the Hulk, but to track. I'm going to say it now. The Bruce Banner, Natasha Romanoff romance was one of the weirdest and most out-of-place things.
I never understood that. It made no sense.
It was just not an aspect that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But, so after she recruits him, she meets Steve Rogers on the helicarrier, and she pilots the Quinjet to the first fight with Loki. And she's flying it, and, then obviously Iron Man comes in and he just has to take all the attention. Yeah. But we do have one of the most memorable scenes with Natasha where she's the one that interrogates Loki and gets him to accidentally reveal his plan.
Yeah.
Apparently, Loki says a phrase. I don't want to repeat it because apparently it's super offensive, but he calls her something, a mewling... I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
It's like, apparently... but like,
go back and watch it.
Yeah, apparently it's a very offensive, oldie English phrase. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
But she plays it up, and you think she's all like, oh my god, damsel in distress, and he's so mean, and I've got red in my ledger, But and then she's like, nah, I'm just playing with you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for your cooperation. I think she says that in Black Widow. Thank you for your cooperation.
Yes.
Spoilers, sorry.
Oh well. They'll get over it, I'm sure.
They will. If you're listening to us, you probably saw it.
Yeah.
But
why wouldn't you?
We do get what was I going to say? I totally lost my train of thought because now I'm thinking about Avengers because I love that movie. But we do get a lot more of her her intelligence, her spy. She does have her moments, obviously, of what she, the physicality, because her and Hawkeye even have a discussion. They're like, we're like normal people.
Yeah, they don't have any superpowers or money.
Apparently, because the Avengers don't get paid.
Yeah, they're just normal people that trained really hard to be where they are.
Yeah. We do get the only scene in that movie where she's legitimately distressed is right after the Hulk appears and kind of almost breaks her leg.
Yeah.
But I do love the fight with her and Barton on the walkway. It's really cool, and it shows a lot of history with the two of them. And we obviously get her as part of the Avengers circle reloading a gun because one of the best lines though. This reminds me of Budapest all over again. And Hawkeye's like, you and I remember Budapest very differently.
Yeah.
Again, they have a very good... It's something that in the later movies, they don't remember, it feels like.
Yeah.
I would love to see... If they had done a Disney Plus series of the two of them just doing, S.H.I.E.L.D. missions, I would... Oh, my God.
Yeah, because they don't...
Excuse me.
They don't mention it until Endgame?
Which part? Budapest?
Budapest.
After...
They have all these interactions, and nothing comes to it until it was Endgame, right?
Yeah. Well, Hawkeye was never in he's not in as many movies as I feel like as Hawkeye has not gotten his comeuppance. I really hope that
the show
does something. Because one of the most gut-wrenching moments in Avengers history is when Endgame starts.
Yeah.
Oh man! And we're sitting there, and I remember it starts, and everybody just went, "Oh,
yeah."
And then when you see the dust, he's like, the entire audience was like, "Oh, you were there. We were there together." Like it was just painful because we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. He was involved in a lot of emotional stuff.
Well, they set him up to die in Age of Ultron, and then they pulled the wool right out of him. Yeah.
I mean, because then you had, him with... I mean, I guess we're kind of going ahead of ourselves a little bit, because now we're jumping all the way to Infinity War Endgame stuff, but when Black Widow dies, in it too, this poor guy had to see his family die, now his,
sacrificed his best friend, basically.
Best friend, according to, the one person you care about, but...
Well, I mean, he named his son is named after her. Originally, it was supposed to be a girl.
Yep.
And became a boy, Nathan.
Nathan.
Nathan Pietro Barton.
Yeah.
Named after the both of them, which I thought was always a nice little...
Yes.
So, moving forward, we have arguably... I'm going to say, this is my favorite Black Widow variants, because she's always a little different in these movies, and that's part of her character. Like she even says it in this movie. What do you want me to be? I can be whatever you need.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. She is fantastic in this movie. She is a highlight. I really enjoy Natasha Romanoff in this because you don't know what side she's on. She's kind of playing both sides of the fence. She's doing secret missions for Fury on top of secret missions.
Yeah.
She's trying to set Steve up on a date. It's just, she's one of the highlights of the movie.
Yeah.
She holds her own. She's never superhuman, but at the same time, she's still above average.
Yeah.
And obviously, Winter Soldier is considered one of the best, if not the best, solo movies.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Winter Soldier? What are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. She was definitely a strong point in that movie because, we've talked about that movie, I don't know how many times we've brought up the movie, but we've done an episode where I think we both rated it a 5. Or, there's really no 5, but, that it's a 5, I
think close enough.
4.95 that movie is. And, she's a big, strong point in it. It's nice because you get to see her progression throughout all these movies, right? You got basically your spy. You have Black Widow. You don't even have Natasha Romanoff or Natalia, whatever her name was.
Natalie Rushman.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you see her progress to going from Black Widow, and then in each movie she becomes a little bit more Natasha.
You know what bothers me? Talking about names and all that, they never really refer to her as Black Widow.
No.
Just like Hawkeye's only been called Hawkeye twice.
Yeah.
And he was never referred to as Ronin except in promotional stuff.
Yeah.
I do. That is one thing about the MCU that really lacks for me.
Yeah.
Is the lack of code. Like they call Cap. That's what they call him. It's just what we call him.
We'll call him.
But that was just kind of because that's who he is. He's Captain America because he embodies that. They don't call Tony Stark Iron Man for the most part.
No, it's Tony.
Yeah. So that was always something about me that bothered me.
Yeah.
Because I like secret identities. I think it's an important part of superhero lore, superhero mythology. I understand it's a more dated concept, but and obviously we've had thousands of debates about Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne and nobody. It's more than glasses. But anyway, I think we got Peter Parker now with his identity being exposed. I'm curious to see how that goes. But I always thought it was an extra layer to superheroes, especially characters like Spider-Man, who in the first the Raimi trilogy of Spider-Man films, you saw how much a secret identity kind of weighed.
Yeah.
But speaking of identities, at the end of Winter Soldier, she releases all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s files onto the web.
Yeah.
Onto the internet.
The interweb.
Basically says everything that she's ever done. And not to jump ahead or spoil anything, but they bring that up in Black Widow. Like little girls idolizing Black Widow, even though she's a killer. She's an assassin. And we're going to definitely talk about that during the actual discussion because I have some points on that. But the next time we see her is we already talked a little bit about Age of Ultron and kind of the fallout from that. Really, she's just I don't really think she's the biggest part of Age of Ultron.
No, she's just like a side.
But then at the end, like she has her moments with and obviously we have the weird relationship with her and the Hulk.
Yeah.
Still,
sun's
going down. Sun's getting low. The best part of that is all the jokes that they do in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Stop saying that. But I think we get to Captain America: Civil War, and
I think that's where she's at her best.
I can get on board with that because at the end of Age of Ultron, she becomes basically the second in command of the Avengers. It's like her and Steve running it. She's doing ops with Steve. They're doing missions. Like they're avenging. They're doing the thing, and she gets kind of caught in the middle when the Sokovia Accords happen because she's more on the side of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
But she's also there's a great scene with her and Steve at the funeral.
Yes.
Where she's like, just because I'm on Tony Stark, like you're still my friends. Like you can trust me. Like they have a very good rapport built up, and it's a rapport that's built up not on sexual tension. Like I hate that.
Completely platonic,
like family, like family basically. Yeah. And the thing that I liked about it was a lot of times you watch movies or TV shows and this person's attractive, let's get them together. Or producer Melanie's a fan of Friends, so I've been watching Friends, and I find Friends interesting in that a lot of these people have dated and or slept with each other, and they're all just still friends. Like
right.
If
that's not really how it works.
Yeah, if I was dating somebody and then we broke up, and not only were we still friends, but then Ronnie was trying to date them afterwards, I don't think I'd be kosher with that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I don't think that sort of thing would work. But
have fun with that. Jeez.
Oh God, what a mess. But so I do like the relationship between Natasha and Steve has always been she's become more of the voice of reason. Yeah. Which is ironic because considering she was the spy. She was the one who never knew what was going on with. She does eventually defect and help Steve out and assaults the king of Wakanda.
Yeah.
But and at the end of Civil War, she is now on the run also.
Yes.
And that's where Black Widow's going to pick up, but we're not talking about that yet. So
almost there. We're almost there.
We're almost there. But we have Black Widow come out, and it's the interim. It's what happens. Basically, it's about a month.
Yeah.
Like an in total of time. So what happens from when she runs out of the room talking to Tony Stark to when she joins up with Steve?
Yes.
I have some questions and concerns, but okay.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead, we had her in Infinity War, where she was part of the Secret Avengers on the run with Steve and Sam and Wanda. Because they do eventually get them broken out, with the exception of Barton and Scott. Yeah, I know what you're laughing at. Calm down. But and she's got the blonde hair, and she's
got the blonde red hair.
The blonde? No, not yet. Just blonde. This is just blonde. So she's fighting alongside them when they, the Battle of Wakanda. She's there. You have some nice little moments with her and and Wanda and Okoye. She does not get dusted from the snap, and she moves on with all of them to she's leading a version of the Avengers, but like she's kind of like running ops from the Avengers compound where we're also assuming she's living, and she's running a team of, I think it's Rocket. Carol, Okoye,
Thor?
And no, not Thor. He's too drunk.
Yeah,
and War Machine.
Yes.
So she's just kind of like living day by day and just trying to do her best to still do good in the world, because that's Natasha's thing. She wants to do
peanut butter
good.
Sandwich.
Yeah, her peanut butter sandwich that Scott eats. And then we get the start of the time heist.
Yes.
Where she's also the one that figures out that if you pick the right time, you can do 3 stones in New York.
Yeah.
So she's more of like a coordination type, but she ends up going to Vormir with Hawkeye. Thank God they sent the 2 Avengers that have some sort of like long
standing relationship. Yeah.
Rocket and like War Machine.
Yeah.
I'll just push him.
Right?
I get his legs. Rocket.
Look at all that stuff I can get and scrap.
Yeah. So after she recruits Clint back into the fold, because obviously who else would do it? Clint with his haircut. I hope he's got a better one for Hawkeye.
You didn't like it?
I did not like it.
You don't like the little mohawk?
No.
No? I think it suits his character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they'd at least said why.
Well, yeah.
But, so they managed to make it to Vormir, and they realized that somebody has to be sacrificed for the Soul Stone. You have to sacrifice someone you love.
Yeah.
And in a great parallel to Thanos and Gamora, who Thanos had to drag and throw, they actually fight each other to see
who's going to go.
Who's going to sacrifice themselves. Because they're doing it for different reasons, right? You know, you had Hawkeye who's doing it to bring his family back, and you have Natasha who wants to just do good. So they do manage to undo the blip. They do mention her during the Tony Stark funeral, like, or maybe at some point Hulk's like, I tried so hard to bring her back. Like, that's all I wanted. But unfortunately, it does bother me that Tony Stark got the biggest funeral of all time.
Yeah.
And, you know, a fair amount of people died during this, you know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But, yeah. Any thoughts on the ending of Natasha, where she kind of ended up?
Again, it's definitely one of the saddest moments we have seen. Again, I think, you know, obviously the scene with Barton's family tops all. And then I think, you know, I think her ending was nice. It was justified because I think she was sacrificing herself. She's like, listen, I've done all this bad. You know, you have this life outside of this, you know. So she understood, like, hey, you can go back to this when we save them. But if we do this and you sacrifice yourself, then your family's not going to have you. At least I won't be, quote unquote, missed by anyone, you know, because she doesn't have a family other than the Avengers and kind of
her second
kind of her second family.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But very different from in the comics. Natasha Romanoff, I believe she was originally called Romanova, and she was not a founding member of the Avengers in the comics.
Yeah.
In fact, Wasp was the female on the team, and she was actually a bad guy at first. Like, she was an antagonist. She was an assassin.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, I think they did a really great job with what they did with her, and obviously she's a lasting character that made an impact. It is a shame that it took so long to get her a solo film.
Yes. Well, that's that. Because I saw something that in 2004 there was development for it.
Yeah, before the Marvel takeover.
Before Marvel takeover, and then once Marvel took over, then they just didn't. I don't know. I would love to ask them why. Like, they had this plan, 17 years ago? I don't think we would have been able to have this movie come out 17 years ago, you know, because, again, it's Black Widow. She's not a big name until all of this, you know, but I still think there's quite a few people who got a movie before her that shouldn't have.
All right, so we'll address this then, because unfortunately, it was a commonly held belief that female-led action films, especially female-led comic book movies, were not going to be successful.
Yes,
there had been some, and it wasn't until Wonder Woman really took off that they realized that they could do. Yeah, you know. I think it's incredibly sexist and a dated concept. Yeah. You know, we love this stuff. We love this world, this universe. And, you know, we went into Black Widow today not really expecting much, just because it is an in-between Quill. Yeah. Like, you know she's not going to die. Yeah. But they have a very small cast, mostly female cast, female director, and for most intents and purposes, it works. Like, yeah, when we're gonna break down the movie and kind of what we enjoyed and what we didn't enjoy and what, you know, Marvel needs to take into consideration. Yes. But so far, like, as far as characters go, Black Widow has been she's been a very good she was always a very good supporting character. And then the question does arise: what happens when she's the only character.
Yes.
And you can even say that about Captain America. Captain America, he had all of his films were based off of the other characters he's interacting with.
It's like a buddy cop almost, his films.
Yeah. So, Thor, not so much, I would argue.
Yeah.
Especially the first one. It wasn't until Thor Ragnarok that he shined on his own, though.
Yes.
So all these movies, the cast is what makes them, and I really would have enjoyed a Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton kind of like...
I was hoping we would get him in here somehow.
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Sort of. But any other thoughts on Natasha Romanoff?
No, I think you pretty much hit it all on the head.
That sounds uncomfortable.
I know, right? I was starting. I couldn't get it out.
Yep. Much like this film. They kept trying to make it and it just took forever to get out.
What?
So we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to break down 2021's Black Widow. But first, a quick break. Today's episode is brought to you by Raise energy drinks from Rep Sports. Whether you're trying to crush your afternoon workout or just need a little extra pick-me-up, Raise Energy is just the boost that you're going to need. So if you go to repsports.com and any product that you order, enter the code MISFIT89 at checkout to receive 15% off. Anything that you guys buy from that store helps our network grow, and we fully appreciate everything you guys do. That's MISFIT89 at checkout, repsports.com. All right, we are back, and now the moment all 12 of our listeners have been waiting for.
Oh, yeah.
That was very uncomfortable. Why were you rubbing my thighs? You did it? But anyway.
Because you liked it.
I didn't like it. But anyway, we are now talking 2021's Black Widow. Finally. Yes, finally.
A year and a half. Oh, no, not a year and a half. A year and 2 months later.
A year and 2 months later. Yeah. So, we're going to save our full thoughts to the end when we do Star City rating. But Ronnie, initial thoughts walking out of the theater.
Initial thoughts walking out of the theater. I enjoyed it. There were plenty of things that need to be changed with it, and I would say overall a solid movie.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I wasn't blown away.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. Marvel has really kind of set their scales exceptionally high. You have a lot of, especially like this is the first real Marvel movie since, obviously we had Spider-Man, but this was the first, like, this year. This was supposed to kick off Phase 4.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, it's there. It exists.
Yeah.
But I know you and I talked about it a little off recording, and I said they played it safe.
Yeah.
They really played it safe. Marvel has found their formula that works. This is how our movies go. This is like very strict rules. In fact, Kevin Feige just eliminated the multi-film contracts. Like, because Marvel used to be notorious for, all right, here's your 5-movie contract that you have to do.
She did 10.
Yep. I remember Sam Jackson got signed on to 9.
Yeah.
And that was like big. So Marvel's obviously changed a little bit, but at the same time, their core is very much the same. This is how our movies go. This is what we do. And for the most part, that works. But this was your opportunity. Like, we said it during the first half. Natasha Romanoff is a trained assassin. She killed people before defecting to S.H.I.E.L.D. And this bothered me too. So this is full spoilers for Black Widow.
Yes.
We are going to go through points of the movie. We're not going to break down the movie plot by plot.
No.
It's more of a cinematic adventures type thing. But we are going to talk about some of the things that really just kind of stuck out to us. And for me, one of the biggest things was S.H.I.E.L.D. had her kill the director of the Red Room as a final test of her loyalty.
Yeah.
That's a little dark for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
But also a missed opportunity for Marvel. Like, that could have been huge for them to talk a little bit more about. Like, she killed people.
Yeah.
She was not a good person. No. And her entire story has been trying to put that right.
Yeah.
Like, just, I feel like this movie played it way too safe. And
it was funny because the whole opening, this is where Rob might be upset with me.
Oh, boy.
The whole opening sequencing, I thought was the best part of the movie, and it gave off, at least to me, major DC vibes.
Which part? The
opening,
the credits,
the opening, yeah.
Oh yeah, like with all the subliminal messaging,
yep.
and that being trains and
all that. I was like, am I watching a DC movie right now?
Yeah, a little bit.
And I was like, ooh, if this is how the movie goes, this could be one of the best Marvel movies ever.
Yeah,
but it didn't.
It did not. There was a lot of opportunity for the female empowerment type stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm a big fan of, and I do think like it, when done right, it can be done so well. Even like when they did the female-led Avengers thing in Endgame, some people were like, "Well, what? That's so convenient." I'm like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I thought it was cool. Like, rule of cool abides here. Like,
exactly.
Whoever thought we'd be seeing?
Tell me that's not a cool shot,
it's and
I will mess you up.
Yeah, and like the whole movie, it's like that was.
Yeah.
It bothers me at this point when people are so like, well, why?
I wonder if they got scared because of Captain Marvel.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I know Captain Marvel didn't rub everybody the right way, myself included. Like I enjoyed the movie enough, but like it didn't blow me away. Unfortunately, a lot of those Captain Marvel was more set up for the next Avengers, and that's what Iron Man 2 suffers from. It's set up for the Avengers. So for me, I would have much rather preferred a movie that was more in the vein of The Winter Soldier, with some sort of conspiracy and some sort of like spy thriller. And they went generic Marvel action movie with this. Yeah, which is fine. Like we still sat in the theater, we enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, that's like I told Sean after the movie was over, I told him, I was like, well, that was a great Bond meets Marvel movie.
A little bit. I would have much rather preferred though something way more close in. Just especially the ending action set piece with them all falling out of the base. It was just too. I was like, this isn't when I think Black Widow. This isn't what I think. And her power level was a little off. Like they couldn't really determine how strong or weak she really was.
Yeah, I feel like they almost made her too strong
at certain points. But then they had to go out of their way to show her like with all of her bruising and like walking funny. I will say. So badass when not only did she take the beating, but then she broke her own nose. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
But that was the thing that I got confused about. Speaking of her being either too powerful or anything, she got punched twice, or more than twice. But on the second shot, she fell down. Meanwhile, she's fighting other Black Widows and all these people.
That was all a show. That was a show.
You think?
I think so. I think that was a show. She knew that she
needed... Or do you think she got... I wonder if she got weaker because of the pheromones.
I don't think so. I think just literally she knew she had to get her nose broken.
Yeah.
And, you punched like a girl. Oh, ow.
Yeah.
Again, that whole scene was predetermined. Like, she knew about the pheromone thing, which I thought was a little strange. I think it's like a psychological conditioning that stopped them from hurting him would have been just as interesting, and to see her break through it finally would have been even more interesting.
Yes.
But it still worked for me. Let's talk about the cast, though, because we have some cast members that are new, some returning, and some for future projects that we have. Yeah. So, obviously, we've talked loads about Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff. Again, we're big fans. We really enjoy the character. We've never walked out of a Marvel movie thinking Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow was a poor point in it.
No, never.
But new to the fold, and I am super excited. Florence, I'm not going to pronounce her last name correctly. Pugh?
I would say Pugh.
As Yelena Belova. Does take on the mantle of Black Widow in the comics, so she's not a new character. I don't think they ever had the sister bond, but she was fantastic. She was probably the standout of this movie.
Yes, I agree.
The scene of her making fun of how she does the pose with the hair whip, like that, it's just hilarious. She's funny without being over the top.
Yeah.
And she's got a lot of gravitas that she brings with it, with all the emotional stuff. So she's going to be in the Hawkeye series, which now we're kind of seeing how that's taking shape. So I am very excited to see her do more. And obviously she's working for the old Contessa Valentina, right? We got her. Apparently this was supposed to be her first appearance.
Yes.
But with COVID, obviously that didn't happen. So she was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier recruiting U.S. agent.
Which one do you think? Do you think it would have been better if this was the first one?
I don't think it makes a difference.
No.
But I actually think it works better this way, where we're like, oh my god, it's that lady from the show. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with her, and because obviously she's now got a few people working for her. She's got the U.S. agent. She's got Yelena. So I'm curious to see if they're going to do this Dark Avengers type thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do, and I want to see more of these characters in this world. Especially Yelena just really stole the show for me.
Yeah.
No superpowers, no nothing. Just there's a great scene where she after she knocks out the guard, she's like struggling to drag this. He's 215 pounds. Yeah. Then again, Natasha was able to grab David Harbour and hold him with one hand. So speaking of David Harbour, we have David Harbour playing Alexei Shostakov, also known as the Red Guardian. Again, another guy who steals the show.
Oh yeah.
David Harbour has been now in 3 different comic book movies: Suicide Squad, Hellboy, and this. And I'm finally glad he's found one where he shines.
Yes.
He's basically his character from Stranger Things, just dialed up to 11. I like David Harbour. I hope he does more and just continues to find more success, because he was an actor. He's been around forever.
I hope we see more of him in the Marvel universe as Red Guardian.
Mm-hmm. He was in Brokeback Mountain. Oh my god, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm War of the Worlds. Quantum of Solace. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Green Hornet. Oh god. The Equalizer.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. And then obviously we said Suicide Squad, Black Mass.
Yeah.
He was in a lot of stuff. Have you seen Hellboy?
I saw the first one.
I'm talking about the one when he did, David Harbour, where he played Hellboy.
No.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
Well,
I'm
not upset then.
I have it on the DVR upstairs. Eventually I'm going to watch it. But I'm a big fan.
Yeah. He was really good in this.
Excuse me.
I thought I agree with you that Yelena's actress kind of stole the show of Florence, but this was a close second. Mm-hmm. I mean, just this scene of him in the
prison
towards the beginning in the prison and everything like that, arm wrestling while getting tattooed and everything, like
talking about how he fought Captain America, but the guy's like, he was still frozen. Yeah.
He was like, you lying snap, just broke your wrist.
You call me liar.
Yeah. Or the one before I liked, where he was like, oh. He thought he was gonna win.
Yeah. He does grow throughout the film too, and I love the scenes of him trying to, like, he thinks he's on the comms, but he's not. That
trying
was
to
very
fit into
funny.
his Red Guardian suit.
Never have I related with something more.
Right? We got a wedding this week. That's gonna be me trying to put on this.
We just had a huge breakfast too. Oh man. But I enjoyed him. I want to see more of him. I want to see more about what his powers are, because he was pure propaganda, just like Captain America was. He was a product of communism and the Red Scare and all that. I would love to see more. There's an alternate Superman story called Red Sun, very similar. I love it. It's good stuff. But I would like to hear more about the Red Guardian, and because obviously after he did this mission, they made it seem like he immediately got put into jail.
Yeah.
Which, can that jail really hold him? He's a super soldier.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, he's supposed to be just as strong, or is he stronger than Captain
I don't
America?
know. He knocked that steel door like off its hinges. Basically, they've always kind of played fast and loose with what Captain America can really do.
Yeah.
He's obviously stronger than your average human, but he's only supposed to be like
a little bit stronger,
like the peak human, above human. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the way he busted out when he realized he had comms, and someone was coming to,
and obviously
bust
like
him out.
He's in Siberia or Russia, wherever he is, and if he started running,
Norway.
No, he was not in Norway.
No,
I don't think so.
Oh,
everybody talk with Russian accent.
So
no, what's her face? Morena, whatever her name is.
Yeah,
Rachel Weisz's character, Melina.
Melina.
She was one living in Norway.
Oh yeah.
So I leaned over to producer Melanie and said we should move to Norway. Going down the list, we have O.T. Fagbenle. Come on, that can't be a real name. As Rick Mason.
Yep.
Again,
he's from Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, okay. I've never seen it. Oh, his real name is way too hard for me to pronounce.
Olatunde.
Alteju.
Oh, yeah, that.
Oloralan.
So wait, where's the OT?
I don't know. Just don't. What a name. It's
Right?
a man's name. But he plays Rick Mason. Now, I do believe Rick Mason is a character. I think he was just in the comics. He was just called the Agent.
Mm-hmm.
So he was. He's a weapons dealer, or like he procures things that need help procuring.
Yeah.
So he's not really.
He's the Tinkerer.
No, he's not the Tinkerer. The Tinkerer exists in the MCU. But,
So does this character.
Yeah, I know, but
It says right here. Oh, sorry, no. He's the son of the Tinkerer.
Oh, okay. Look at you. Look
Yeah.
at you doing research
Right?
on the fly.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
But in this, he's more of like a freelancer. Like
Yeah,
I
no.
just get I get things for people who pay money for them.
Yeah.
Like nothing. No, I'm not a good guy, not a bad
Where
guy.
does she get all the money from?
Well, apparently not Tony Stark,
Yeah.
because he does not pay the Avengers, which is still one of the biggest points of contention I've
Well,
ever
actually,
heard.
she doesn't even pay for any of the stuff in the movie. He even says, "This is going on your tab."
Going on your tab. Eventually, got to pay me for this.
Yeah.
But also, it's good to have an Avenger as a friend.
Yeah.
So, again, I would have liked to seen a movie where it develops their friendship.
Yeah.
Like maybe her and Clint were tasked with rescuing him, or
Yeah.
something like that. Like they could have done a lot more, and unfortunately, it feels like we're still missing a movie.
Yeah. See, again, this movie, well, I guess with the timeline, couldn't have come out so far in advance as we would have hoped for. I guess they would have had a different story, like a Budapest story. That'd been great.
It should have just been called Black Widow Budapest.
Yeah, but I mean, we definitely needed a movie before this movie for Black Widow. I think not necessarily an origin story, but something like her as an assassin. This way, this makes a little bit more sense that she's out of the life, because we only have heard about her stories as an assassin. It would have been nice to see a story.
Yeah, but again, it sucks that we finally got this movie and we're still like, it's a good thing that we want more.
Yeah.
But also, like, it feels shortchanged a little bit.
Yeah, because you can't go back.
No.
Now they can only go forward with a movie with her, when they do a sequel, because I'm sure there'll be a sequel.
I hope that it's about Yelena taking over the role as Black Widow.
Yep.
And, obviously they set her up to do a lot of different things. And unfortunately, also, this movie ends and then it time jumps to the present, which is technically like 12 years.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's good. Or not 12 years. I'm being dramatic.
But, yeah, we know what you meant.
I'd say they're on the run for like a year or two.
Yeah.
Between Civil War and Infinity War. And then it's 5 years later. So at least 6-7 years.
Yeah.
I wonder if Yelena got dusted and then brought back.
I can tell you right now, we don't. Actually, we might know. We might figure that out in the Hawkeye series.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting aspect to bring.
Yeah.
Because obviously she's in. And what happened to all these Black Widows? That, again, things we'll never get answers for, unfortunately. But going down the list still, we got Olga Kurylenko.
Good job.
I tried. As Antonia Dreykov / the Taskmaster. Yeah. Weak reveal.
Yeah.
They could have done better.
Yeah.
I would have preferred if they just found out at the end that Dreykov's daughter was actually still alive, and Natasha found out. Like it would have even been better, more psychological torture if Dreykov himself was like, "Oh no, my daughter's fine. She's right here." But Taskmaster, I will say, one of my favorite Marvel suits. I thought she looked really cool. The costume was really cool.
Yes.
But we could have done so much more make Taskmaster the actual bad guy instead of just a henchman. Because Taskmaster's a perfect villain for somebody like Natasha, where in the comics, Taskmaster doesn't necessarily have superpowers, but he's an expert fighter and he's able to mimic other fighters.
Yeah.
Only physical fighters, never superpowers or anything like that. But they did the Spider-Man PS4 game where he's like a side quest character, and you learn his character in that is 10 times better than this, unfortunately.
Yeah.
In just a video game where he's a side character.
Yeah.
So Marvel really has to learn sometimes that their twists are not they're 50-50. They either work completely or they don't.
This did not work.
This is right up there with the Mandarin twist for me. Like, okay.
Where they both got casted wrong.
Yeah. Which I don't mind, like, certain things. You know, gender bending is not anything new for characters. Like, you know, Ronnie just started watching The Boys, and the female antagonist in that, what's her name? The mother figure. Oh. Yeah, it's gonna drive me crazy too. She was from Karate Kid.
Yeah,
but
I can't even think of it now.
In the comics, she was traditionally a male character.
Okay.
So, like that's not something that's anything new,
Mm-hmm.
and for the most part, it doesn't bother me. But Elizabeth, no, it's not Elizabeth. Oh my God, Elizabeth Shue. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, I gotta lay down. That was tough. Wikipedia is hard, but I didn't really. Especially because Olga Kurylenko, she's not a no-name actress. She was a Bond girl. That's where I first saw her in Quantum of Solace.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's got some chops, but I was disappointed with Taskmaster, not just in how they portrayed the character, but also with the twist. This movie didn't need a twist like that. It needed more of a story-based twist. Because all that did was just, it changed her guilt.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing about this movie that's really not sitting well with me, is that nothing happened in this movie that impacted Natasha. Just at the end, she's like, well, I got to go save the rest of the Avengers, I guess.
Yeah, right?
Like, that was a terrible reason for her to join up with Steve and Sam.
Yeah.
You know? So, I don't know. I think the stakes in this movie were really low. Again, playing it safe.
Yes.
We had William Hurt returning as Thaddeus Ross for 4 seconds. He's in 2 scenes.
Yeah.
The beginning scene's really cool with him and the SWAT team and all that.
Yep.
That's cool. I enjoyed that. And then obviously you just see him at the end. But what a waste of a character. Yeah. And it's weird considering they made a big effort to bring him back from he's the only character from the Incredible Hulk besides obviously the Hulk that's still. Well, now Abomination's going to be in Shang-Chi.
Oh, well, yeah. Yep.
So you know, that's definitely the redheaded stepchild of Yeah, I liked The Incredible Hulk too. I really enjoyed that movie. Again, it's very different than the rest of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Ray Winstone as General Dreykov, the creepiest Harvey Weinstein type character. What a terrible scumbaggy character.
Yeah.
Like pheromones and whispering and rubbing hair. I'm like, get out. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable just watching. Like, what a dirty, terrible character. Again, just a villain, just a generic. I hate to say it, Marvel's gotten better with it, but they are not known for their villains.
Yeah, no, I feel like there was no real villain in this movie.
No, not even a little bit. This was just more Natasha. Like, no, I broke the Red Room.
Yeah,
and you know, Yelena being like, no. And they got Rachel Weisz as Melina Vostokov. The other part of the parent duo for Natasha and Yelena. I actually enjoyed where it seemed like she was actually a bad guy.
Yes.
And then they backtracked. I was like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Stick to your guns, Marvel.
Yeah.
You could have done it.
That wasn't too bad of a twist.
That would have been a good twist if they, like, you know, and obviously I think I was mildly fooled at first. I was like, oh, okay, so she's still Hydra or you know, Red Room.
Red Room.
Yeah, so many colors and affiliations and all that.
She's a Red Room.
I do like how every time they mention S.H.I.E.L.D., they have to mention also, well, really Hydra at the time, but we didn't know that.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, looking back, obviously Hydra had infiltrated and then took over S.H.I.E.L.D. At one point, S.H.I.E.L.D. was S.H.I.E.L.D., and it was like, you know, a force for good. And I hate that the legacy is now that, oh yeah, Hydra grew inside of it and took it over. Yeah. Yeah, at the end, they did some good stuff too. But the original, basically one of like the original Widows, she says she went through the Red Room 4 times. Yeah. That's horrific. Speaking of horrific, when Yelena started going into detail, it was like, don't get me wrong, it was funny-ish. Yeah. But at the same time, we're like, oh, all right. Oh, wow.
Relax.
Yeah. That's a line also from Avengers Age of Ultron that hasn't aged well, where she refers to herself as a monster because she is, you know, all that. Like, that doesn't make you a monster. Like, no. But, yeah. Apparently, Jeremy Renner had an uncredited voice role. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Let's see. you got a couple of Red Room assassins, which we're not going to go. We got Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Dreyfus, excuse me. Driver, reprising her role as Valentina. I really want to see what her end goal is. Is she remaking Hydra? Because Hydra's still in effect. Because in the first Ant-Man, they mentioned that some of the buyers for the shrinking tech are Hydra. And I think what's-his-face goes, they're not like they were before. They're doing really interesting work. So, like, Hydra's still around.
Yep.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is technically kind of around.
Yeah.
You go on... Like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tried to reintroduce S.H.I.E.L.D. itself, but that's not continuity anymore.
Yeah.
Even though they're the ones who got Fury the helicarrier at the end of Age of Ultron that we never saw again.
Yeah, right.
Oh, God, Marvel really...
Marvel needs to get their together. Which is funny, get it together.
They probably have a continuity team. They probably have a team of... Which is funny, because all you need to do is hire people like us who like dissect every scene in these movies and just... Like, it's it's an interesting thing to keep track of, especially with different directors and stuff like that. But so that's the whole cast. Let's talk about some things that we liked, some things that we didn't like. What do you got? What do you got, Ronnie?
Again, I think the things I liked. One thing I liked was, like we said earlier, David Harbour. I think he's a bright spot in this movie, and because of him,
like a red star.
Yeah, right. Because of him and Florence Pugh or Pug or however you pronounce it, they definitely help this movie progress throughout and give it a little extra added value to it, because you have a lot of character development in this movie, but it's just from those two. Mm-hmm. No one really else gets any sort of development in it. But those two are definitely one of my positives. What's one of yours?
Black Widow herself. She's Scarlett Johansson just is a gem and a really good addition to the Marvel universe. It's also just great to be back in the movies and seeing a Marvel movie. There are a lot there. The humor is really good. The dynamic between the two of them is fantastic. Her and Yelena. Yeah. You feel that camaraderie. You feel that they have a history. Obviously, they were together for 3 years, and doing fake Christmases and stuff like that. But for Yelena being so young at the time, it was real for her. Like they say that she was 6, so that means from like age 3 to 6, this is how she grew up, and she thought it was totally normal. So it's different for Natasha, who I don't remember if they say her exact age, but she's probably like 11 or 12 at the time. She's riding her bike through town. So, obviously Natasha had an idea, but I really enjoyed their dynamic and their back and forth. Like, I love this vest. It's got pockets, and all that. You love this vest. Yeah. So some of that stuff was just really good. But something you don't like?
Something I didn't like. Again, touch on it. Taskmaster, I think, was a big letdown and a surprise that they went with Dreykov's daughter instead of staying true to the comic. Because in the comic books, it's a male playing. Again, no, that's fine. You do what you want, but I don't know. I think sometimes you have to stay true to the original. Some things work, some things don't work. This to me did not work at any point, Taskmaster, at all. Whether it was male, female, whatever, does not matter. But it was just a letdown because now there's no more Taskmaster that the MCU can use because now it's all fixed. She got her.
We're taking you with us.
She got her red dust. I don't know. Well, what about you?
Well, for me, what I was afraid of is that it was going to be just 2 hours of Black Widow and skin tight leather kicking ass. I'm glad it wasn't. It was. No. It had some depth to it. Even her costumes were, I don't want to say less form fitting, but more practical.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
especially that vest.
Yeah, the vest. It had so many pockets. You never know what's in these pockets. But for me, like I said, they played it safe, and to have it's funny because you look at Iron Man 2, the hallway fight scene with her. Mm-hmm. I found that way more memorable and exciting than the entire escape from the Flying Fortress.
Yeah.
Like, I found that better.
Yeah.
We could have had a great movie of her. At the end, she infiltrates this base, and the end, she's just like doing the same thing. Hallways, like they could have paid homage to that.
Yeah.
Done a hallway scene with her fighting off Black Widows. Like that would have been legendary.
I think they tried to in the office or whatever,
which was cool. Don't get me wrong. And obviously, she doesn't win. She was about to die. Even though we knew she wasn't because it's not her time yet.
And
Jeremy Renner just throws her off. Oh, dang it.
Well, the one thing I don't understand was Yelena attached all the vials to a grenade or
like a gas
whatever
container.
it was, right? So when that thing exploded, because that's the only way to do it, is they all had to explode. Magically, two of them
she kept two.
Yeah, two of them fell to the ground off of that and didn't explode.
Yeah, we'd have to rewatch it to see if maybe she palmed them or something. But it's a shame that this movie should have been this movie. I hate this. I don't want to compare, but it should have been Wonder Woman. There's nothing in this movie that sticks out to me, especially in terms of set pieces.
Yeah,
like the prison escape's fun. The motorcycle chase was. I
know. But I'm like trying to think of like things that happened in this, and it's just.
Like when I think of Wonder Woman, I think of the scene with No Man's Land.
Yes,
it's fantastic. Like even more so than the ending fight scene with Ares. That scene, that one scene, is just pure, cinematic goodness. You know, even like Batman vs Superman, you have the warehouse fight scene.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Iron Man 2 kind of suffers from this too. Whereas where the Black Widow scene is the bigger scene, and the Whiplash fight is just kind of meh.
Yeah.
But then, or like Avengers Infinity War, where it's a lot of fight scenes, or Endgame, where the last 20 minutes is just pure, like, cinema gold. But for this movie, nothing stands out for me.
Yeah.
There's some good character moments, but otherwise, like, I left this movie just feeling like, okay.
The only things that, like, stand out to me are, like, the comedic stuff. Like when he's putting on his red Guardian suit, like that to me, like
that was hilarious.
That's hilarious. When Yelena lands in the superhero pose, like
like, so gross.
Yeah, like that to me stands out and everything. But I mean, that it's unfortunate because you have this amazing hand-to-hand combat, character. Yeah, you get her. You get some good stuff. Like, actually, you know what?
Oh, okay.
Her fight with Yelena.
Oh,
in the apartment in Budapest. In Budapest.
That is a fun fight scene.
That's a fun fight scene. That stands out to me. I mean, it took me a while to get there, but I mean,
very Bourne Identity. That fight scene, and I like that. But otherwise, like the movies, it's good. It's passable.
Yeah,
it's not going to be in the pantheons of.
Again, I'd watch it again.
I'd watch it over Thor: Dark World or Iron Man 2. But we also did not. You know what? I really wish we'd gotten a good team up fight scene with Yelena and Natasha. Like Iron Man 2. I know we keep going back to it, but one of the best shots is when the two of them are arguing about who's going to stand where during the final fight, and then. All the drones shopping, and they just drop their helmets, and they just go to town.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Natasha and Yelena just back-to-back fighting off widows.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I agree.
Or even the male soldiers, because this guy does have an army, basically.
Yeah. Which you don't see at all.
No, they're the escort. They just run him with. But I think this movie, it's good. If you're a Marvel fan, I recommend going to see it.
Oh, yeah.
But it also feels like something that would have been released on Disney+.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those, go see it. You're not going to be blown away by it. I wouldn't say you're not going to love it, because I'm sure there's few people out there that are going to
I'm sure there are going to be plenty of people. Yeah.
But again, it's solid.
Yeah. But
it kind of does the job.
It does the job enough. So how are you feeling about a Star City rating?
We could Star City rating this.
So I was teetering. I think mine was a little bit more harsh. I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
It is slightly above average movie. I think it's because it's got the Marvel clout. A great cast. unfortunately, it suffers from a predictable plot, lack of stakes. Even the emotional moments get hampered by the quick comedic jabs. Marvel's guilty of it. That's one of their things that a lot of people point out, that they'll do an emotional moment and then immediately cut it with a joke, and you're like, oh, kind of.
Well, I thought we were having a moment.
I thought we were. So, but otherwise, it's solid. It is right where it should be. It's not good. Again, it's not going to blow anybody away. If you've seen, what are we in, like 27 Marvel movies or something ridiculous?
Something, yeah.
Especially with, like, we just watched WandaVision, which was very big on the emotional stuff. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was huge action set pieces. Yeah. And now we're in the middle of Loki, or at the end of Loki.
Which is a little bit of both.
Yeah. It's just, it's a shame that it doesn't, that the thing that got me most excited was the setup for the next set of movies or series with the ending credit scene.
Yeah.
I kind of wish Natasha Romanoff got a better grave, though.
Yeah.
Like, I would have figured it'd be some sort of shrine somewhere.
Yeah.
What did they bury in there?
That's a great question.
Oh, God.
Well, technically, her body was there. They just got to pick it up.
No, it's still in Boromir, because apparently, if you look at it, you can also see where Gamora landed.
Fell.
I was like, oh, that's morbid. Or like they line up some sort of way.
Like there was like a blood spot or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But we'd love to hear what you guys have to say about Black Widow. Ron, do you have something to say?
Can I give my Star City rating?
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot you were here.
Nah. You guys don't get my rating. You gotta follow us
on social media. Ronnie, what Star City rating? Go ahead.
All right, so leaving the theater, there was a family there that we knew, and so they asked, what was your initial thoughts? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, what's your gut telling you? And I said a 7.75 out of 10. He wanted it out of 10. We don't do out of 10, so I have to convert that now.
Yeah, we don't do that.
But the drive here, which was only like 10 minutes, and discussing it and letting it sit for, we've been out of the theater for an hour and a half now, or so.
Just about.
I think I'm gonna give this a 3 to a 3.5. I'm not 100% sure. I think more a 3 than a 3.5, but because there was so much that should have been done that was not done. I thought at times some of the CGI was a little funky, like with the car falling down into like the subway or whatever, and and like the shot of her jumping from the base or whatever it's called, the Red Room, I guess, right? Like some of it just looked funky. You could tell like it was CGI. Like, you're not supposed to tell when things are CGI and stuff like that. And then it just nothing was set up. I feel like this should have. I guess it couldn't really set anything up because it took place in the middle. But how can this be part of the start of a phase if it has nothing to do with the rest of the phase?
I think this movie would have been better if it came out right after Endgame.
Yeah.
Maybe to end Phase 4.
Yeah.
That would have been. I think that would have been a better.
Yeah,
better
I
option
agree
for them. But we would love to hear what you guys have to say about Black Widow. Ronnie, what are some ways that people can get in touch with us? Not physically, because lawsuits.
But you could get in touch with us on Facebook. Just look up the Multiverse Fancast. You can also check out our website, themisfitfaction.com. You can reach out to us on there. You can also get content to our podcast. There's photos up there. You have Rob's articles on Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Venom, bunch of different stuff up there. And then obviously you can follow us on Instagram if you don't already, which you probably already should. Just look up the Misfit Faction. We've released content on there, and all that good stuff. But like I said before, the main thing is Facebook. Partake in our fan feedback Fridays and everything like that, which we'll go over in just a little bit. And then obviously you take us on the go to listen to us with Spotify, Podbean, what else is it? Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, basically anywhere that you listen to other podcasts or music, you can find us and everything.
All right. So we had Fan Feedback Friday. With the success of Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and WandaVision, which superhero show should be on Disney Plus next? So, let's see. Producer Melanie. We didn't have a whole lot for this one, unfortunately.
No.
Producer Melanie wanted a Doctor Strange, which I thought was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got to fix this. I most relevant.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens.
A nice Doctor Strange one would be fun. Planet Hulk would be good. Unfortunately, they kind of already did it with, what's it called? Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Their best bet at it. And Rob, I'm still all in on the Marvel DC crossover event Forks on the Left with Alfred and Jarvis. And he said, call me. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, we also have I posted on the page The Witcher. The new trailer came out. Have you seen The Witcher?
I have not.
All right, no. So if we get any more likes, we're gonna have to do an episode on it. So just start.
Well, I gotta go one show at a time. I just watched the first episode of season 2 of The Boys.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. But
once I finish that, we're gonna do an episode on that.
Oh yeah, right before season 3 drops, absolutely. But that's gonna wrap us up for today. As always, I'm Paul.
I'm Ronnie,
and we'll be back in a flash.
See ya.
Smorgasbord for Rob.